afarensis bones are described as very ape-like. There are bones that appear to be distinctly different species that in fact belong in a different genus. These out-of-place bones were acknowledged to be present from the onset by Johansen and his co-workers in the field. And he goes on, they go on and on and on. This is the most shocking part of Lucy discovery, explained further. This explains why some of the bones of the afarensis type have been described as remarkably human, while others have been described as strikingly similar to those of a chimpanzee. I put, here's your transitional on the side, right? Like, if something, this is the ape man, right? The ape woman that they've been asking for since the dawn of time, since the dawn of creationism, they've been asking for a perfect ape man. And whenever they get it, nope, that can't be it. It's too transitional. It's actually just a mix of human and Australopith bones. And okay, well, you know, nothing will ever be good enough. Those goalposts are on wheels and like attached to a rocket, like a rocket-powered engine to jettison it into the sun. Now we're going to talk about the Laetoli footprints. They start off this section by saying Lucy's feet are missing, but some claim that she left human-like footprints. The some there, that's just the paleoanthropological community. These days, I don't know of anybody who proposes that the G trackway at Laetoli was not made by Australopithecus afarensis. There's another trackway there, the A trackway, but this trackway is probably not Australopithecus afarensis. We know this based off of the biomechanics, and we'll get to that. Then they go into like a pretty decent summary here of like what actually happened, where the tracks are found, how old they are. The Laetoli footprints are found in Laetoli, which is in Tanzania. As I note here, they were found in 1976 by Leakeys, and they look pretty human. They look human-like. That's what do we mean when we say human-like? Well, an inline big toe, looks like it has 3 arches in the feet, things like that. And we didn't know of anything at the time that these were found with any certainty that had that kind of foot morphology. We'll get there though. 3.7 million years old, talk about how long they are, who they were, 3 individuals traveling in sort of an ash fall that had happened due to volcanic eruption nearby, covered the landscape in ash, and then 3 Australopiths are walking along leaving their tracks. The Laetoli footprints were found more than 1,000 miles away from where the fossil remains of Lucy's kind were found, and they were dated to nearly 500,000 years older than Lucy, yet Johansen strongly asserted these footprints must have been made by his species. They're just imposing malice on these guys as if it's some kind of sneaky cabal of individuals who are trying to push evolution despite evidence to the contrary. I know that this is exactly what they think, right? And they're just willing to pack this chapter full of mistruths in order to make it seem that way, which really pisses me off, but we'll continue on. I've got a lot to say, and I want to get through all of it. In this section here, where they show the Laetoli footprints and they give a little description of them, they say that a number of anatomists who examined the footprints have noted that they look identical to those of modern humans. There's no source here, and there's no source for a reason. No anatomist looked at the Laetoli footprints and said, these are identical to modern humans. That did not happen. Mary Leakey, when she first stumbled across them, said that they looked remarkably human, but no one proposed that these were anatomically modern human. No mistake about it. Certainly not anatomists. And I suspect that if they had a quote that supported that, they would have cited it. So they continue onward. They use the word paleo-expert again, which that's why I have the T here to combat the acid flooding my gastrointestinal system. Let's move on to the Laetoli footprints. So here's a picture of a Laetoli footprint. And at first glance, I, as well as you, would look at this and say, wow, like, as these guys in Contested Bones are about to know, if you saw this on the beach, you wouldn't do a double take. You wouldn't think that there was some crazed Bigfoot running around. You wouldn't do a double take. You wouldn't think that there was some crazed Bigfoot running around. You would just say, that's kind of a weird footprint. It does look indistinguishable from a modern human footprint. It has an inline hallux, it has 3 arches, it has a heel, right? But this does not mean it's anatomically modern because you have to run a biomechanics analysis to actually figure that out. That is where they fall intermediately, how they carried that weight. The morphology looks modern, which is why it drives me crazy that they get so pissed off when we portray Lucy like this. With the inline hallux. Of course, they don't associate those because they just don't know about the feet, evidently. That's why they call this the Lucy chapter and not just an Australopithecus afarensis chapter. Okay, so they finish quote mining, and then they say,